Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia, and if you're not new here, then welcome back. I've kind of stumbled onto a new art style and I want to talk about it, so let's go. Some of you may know, especially if you follow me on my Instagram, which is linked down below, that I have been making a zine, and here she is, issue 1. Just a little A6 size for now. This is going to be sent out to my Ko-fi members. So I've set up memberships on my Ko-fi account and I will have that linked down below as well. There's 2 tiers that get the zine and then 1 that gets an art print as well as the zine. In addition to the main zine, there's also going to be a mini zine sent out, which I'm going to be making today. The physical rewards get sent out in the last week of the month, so you've still got time to subscribe to jump on to this first issue. I've done the 2 artworks that we're going to be looking at in the sketchbook today, and a third one as well, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to make the art print, so I asked in an Instagram poll which was people's favorite, and I also made a grid post and asked people to drop it in the comments. And 2 of them got exactly the same results when I added them all up. So I have decided for the first month that the Art Lover tier members are going to be getting both prints because I'm just feeling generous. Sending out the physical rewards next week, the last week of the month. If you happen to sign up in those last couple of days before it hits the 1st of February, I'll make sure that you get this month's rewards in the next lot of posts, so you will get double next month. But you only, that the cutoff for that is the 1st of February. I wanted to thank these legends so much, so much, for signing up and becoming members. Let's all give a big shout out, love to these beautiful humans. And I'm really excited to see where this goes. I've got a lot of ideas about things I want to do with the zine, so it's all very exciting. Let's have a look at the artwork and I'll talk a bit more about the inspiration. I took a trip to my favorite art supply store last week because I have a Prismacolor pencil and it's a chartreuse shade, and I really wanted to find a paint that was a similar color, and I ended up finding the perfect paint. After searching through all the ranges of gouache and acrylics in the store, I ended up finding in Holbein's acrylic gouache range a shade called Leaf Green, and this is exactly the color that I had in my mind. I've been thinking about this color for weeks, and I'm so excited that I now have the perfect shade in the tube. It looks a bit more yellow on camera. It's definitely a little bit more green, like a sort of electric acid sort of lemony green in person, but it's the exact shade that I had in my mind. And then while I was looking through all the paints, I noticed this really beautiful deep teal called Peacock Blue, and so I grabbed that as well. And again, it's showing up a little bit more blue on camera, but it's just the most gorgeous deep teal shade. And one of the things that I absolutely hate the most is doing backgrounds. So I just sort of had this idea recently of doing like painted backgrounds just with negative space, basic shapes, and then using that as a background to collage on top of. So I've been collaging, and I did one in my bullet journal and I did a little one in my little sketch a day sketchbook of my own illustrations, and then cutting them out and placing them on top of the background to make a complete artwork instead of, I find that if I do a portrait that I really like, I have this real fear of wrecking it with the background. So I found that doing it this way, that is eliminated because I can just focus on the portrait, nail that, get that to how I really like it, and then I can just cut it out and stick it on top of the background that I've done. And I thought, this is such a genius idea, and this is going to solve so many problems for me. Also, my mum ages ago gave me some wallpaper samples, and I'm going to use those as well as backgrounds and do portraits and stick those on top. So I'm really keen to get stuck into that. And the reason I'd been thinking about collage so much lately is because of the zine, because I'm making the zine. And I grew up in the 90s, and I'm a really big fan of physical zines and the collage element of it, and cutting and pasting and DIY and sticking it all together and making copies and that sort of thing. So I know there's a lot done digitally these days and they're all amazing, but I'm a physical artist. So collage was heavily on my mind. I'd been doing collage in my zine. I have made a collage video before, and I will link that above if you'd like to watch that. So I've got 3 tiers for my memberships, and 2 have the zine, and then 1 has an art print as well. So I was thinking, like, what am I going to do for the art print? I'm not sure. My zine is going to be different every month, like different thematically. So I want it to have an artwork that kind of ties in with the zine somehow, so they go together. And maybe loosely, maybe like directly, it'll be obvious, but I just wanted the artwork to have some kind of inspiration from the zine. And lately, I've been doing lots of very emotional kind of portraits and women crying neon tears. That's where my love of neon comes in. And this whole zine was sort of like an introduction to me in the 90s when I discovered zines. And it's heavily based on nostalgia of that time, that sort of thing. And maybe coincidentally or not, the Nirvana song All Apologies has been running through my head on a loop for weeks. And I didn't hear it anywhere. It just sort of appeared in my brain one day while I started working on the zine. And I thought another element I could use on these artworks for part of the collage is to handwrite a lyric and use that in the artwork as well. So this one was What Else Could I Say? And then I also did one that was just All Apologies, which is the song title. And then there was another one, which is the second piece I'm making in this, which was All in All is All We Are. So once I cut these out using my trusty cheap kid scissors, which are my absolute favorite, I don't know why, I could get the painted backgrounds after satisfyingly peeling off that washi tape and have a look and see how it fit. And then I've got a complete painting without the pressure of having to do a background that I absolutely hate on a portrait that I absolutely love. And that makes total sense to me. So I'm really excited to experiment a little bit more with this way of making art. And for the second portrait, I hadn't used my alcohol markers for ages. So I just wanted to break those out and do another little portrait. Like I said before, these portraits have been quite emotion heavy. And one of the main reasons I wanted to make a zine is because I was a live music photographer for 10 years. And when I was at art school, I majored in painting and minored in photography. And I kind of just fell into the live music photography and was really successful at it. ended up traveling the world, shooting festivals, and it was a really huge part of my life. And that all got put on hold with all the lockdowns. And then now with my long COVID, it's just physically really difficult to do. So I've been focusing more on my artwork, which is amazing. And I've always wanted to get back into spending more time on my painting and illustration. But the two have always felt quite disjointed. And like I have two separate Instagram accounts. Like I haven't been able to sort of find a way for them to exist together. But the zine is the perfect place because it can be photography and illustration and writing, and it all just fits and lives harmoniously. And I've it's like the perfect place, and everything's sort of fallen into place, and things like all the artistic parts of me can coexist in this one spot now. And I'm so excited to have that outlet where everything lives together. And I can't wait to share it with you all. I'm definitely going to make a video about making a zine. I just want to get this first one out of the way, but I will be making some zine videos in the future, so stay tuned for those. And with all my portraits, I like to use pencil just to finish up, add a bit of texture and detail. And here's her Neon Tears in my pink neon Prismacolor pencil. I really like this one too. So that's sort of my inspiration. I got inspiration from making the zine to make these cutout portraits, and I'm really excited about what the future of the zine could be. Like I feel like I'm going to have just photography zines, maybe just some live music photography, my favorite photos from my photography career. Yeah, it really, it can be anything. It could be everything. It's going to have a curated playlist every month that sort of fits with the theme as well. And this month's zine, actually, the playlist is the playlist from a radio show that I did with my sister in 1996. I actually had handwritten it down in an old diary, so I've used that as the playlist because it just seemed to be the perfect thing to add in this zine that was sort of a lot about my experiences in the 90s. And it literally could have been 30 pages, but I kept it short and sweet. And I feel like the future of the zine is going to be old things and new things. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So once I'd cut out the portraits and I had the little title cards, I just decided which background fit. And the great thing about collage is that you can play around with the composition before having to commit to it, before you stick it down. And I felt like this was the correct placement for these two. And then I just used my favorite little double-sided sticky roller tape. I prefer to use these other than glue because it's not messy. It doesn't affect the finish of the paper at all. It just really just sticks them down, and it's very sticky, so things really stay put. And I'll link all my supplies down below as well. So that we have All in All is All We Are, and then our portrait on the right. What else could I say? So let me know what you think of these kind of new artworks. I'm really happy with them. And I've only got about 3 or 4 spreads left in this sketchbook. So sketchbook tour is coming soon. So that's fun. I've done a lot of experimenting in this sketchbook, and I feel like I've grown a lot throughout the time I've been using it. I wanted to thank you so much for watching this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and you'll see my upcoming sketchbook tour. Please feel free to check out my Ko-fi memberships down below. Like I said, the zine will be sent to you every month, as well as the art print if you join up to that last tier. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.